as I briefly explained throughout the previous 4 videos, that some of the sunlight is different wavelengths of radiation are absorbed by different layers in the atmosphere. But there are still remaining radiation going down to our planet from the sun. But that is taken care of through many different ways, such as 25% of that radiation would be reflected off clouds, dust, and other gases. 20% would go to those same clouds, dust, and other gases, but be absorbed by them. 5% would go onto the surface and be reflected back into the atmosphere by the surface. But much bigger number than that, 50% would go into that same surface and just be absorbed, which causes our heat. Some though is radiate. Some of the radiation would be radiated back into the atmosphere. What do you call it? As we continue, but as I told you, when a bunch of different ones reflect off the surface, different surfaces and gases do different things, such as thick clouds. 75% to 95% is reflected back. Thin clouds, 30% to 50% is reflected back into the atmosphere. Snow, this is one of the big ones, 75% to 95% is reflected back. Sand is about 15% to 45%. Water is 10%. Grass would be 10% to 30%. And forest is 3% to 10%. But if you didn't notice something as I read those, because I read them a little out of the order, 3 of these are technically all water. That would be snow, water, and clouds. So that's different forms of water. Now let's think about it. Our most commonly known form of water would just be in a liquid form, which did 10% reflected back. But, interestingly enough, when you got into a cloud form, a huge impact would be 75% to 95%. A huge change. But, interestingly enough, when it freezes into snow, it's the same number as what it would be in clouds. 75% to 95%. They're the same thing. So, also, ultraviolet, let's talk about different types of radiation. 2 examples. Ultraviolet radiation was absorbed by the ozone layer. We talked about that before. And then also, infrared radiation is absorbed by water vapor and carbon dioxide. So, another thing I want to mention is, when you think about water, you might have shined a flashlight through water before or something. Would light go into the water as it's absorbed? Yes, it can go into the water. Scientists have recorded water going as far as 100 meters down into the ocean. That's the light going into the water. So, with that, now, you're probably thinking that's a huge number, that's really odd, but any significant light would not go anywhere further than about 200 meters. Very big difference there, but I just thought it was interesting. So, what should you take from this? Where does sunlight go? Now you know. And then also, different wavelengths of radiations are absorbed by different layers in the atmosphere. And that wraps it up.